Hello there.
How's it going?
It's all right. Yeah, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. So
Yeah,
yeah, just watched season 2, episode 10, the finale of
yeah,
Foundation.
yeah. What the fuck are
Yeah,
we going to do now?
I don't know. There's a few other things we can watch, I suppose. But
Yeah,
yeah, not sort of really sci-fi related. Not a lot of sci-fi stuff, unless other people know of some other sci-fi stuff. Um, yeah, probably not Invasion because we don't like it.
yeah. It's too
but
shit.
yeah,
Like it had
yeah,
potential, but it's just gone down the pan this season.
yeah.
So
Pretty,
I've only
it's
watched the
pretty bad.
first few of them for this season, and I couldn't bring
Yeah.
myself to watch this week's episode.
So yeah, so we just sort of like forget about that.
Yeah,
But yeah, if
moving
anyone else got
on.
any suggestions, yeah, we could like quite interesting things. A few films and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we'll sort something out.
Things like that.
But
We'll have a little look. Yeah.
uh,
So anyway,
yeah,
episode 10. So
yeah,
it's the finale of season 2. So a fair amount happened.
yeah.
Um,
They,
um,
they had to do a bit of
quite a lot of it.
housekeeping,
Yeah.
didn't they, from last time?
What would you mean, sort of?
Sort of like, well, they had to. Oh God, let me have a look what my notes say because I'm having a bit of a weird day. So we're on Ignis. Oh yeah, right. So they they had to do housekeeping, as in they had to explain why Harry is alive.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so like because I went down a whole rabbit hole with the whole fucking thing with Harry being alive still. Um, like I thought we didn't actually. Well, first off, I thought, well, we don't know how much of this is like an illusion created by Talon,
Yeah,
so we don't know if we saw him die or not. The other thing I thought maybe he's a robot, and
yeah.
that and like I completely went with it. I went with Demerzal's secret robot army is actually stationed on Una's world, and the fact that
Oh,
yeah, no, it's nonsense. But basically, when she said like the big robots hid in big places and stuff like that, and you were thinking ships. And I thought, what about all
yeah,
those machines on Una's planet, all those massive, great big
yeah,
robots? And there was no life signs there. It was all machinery, and they were programmed to kill all life forms that land on. So I went down a whole rabbit hole thinking, oh, maybe he's a robot, and this is why he's still alive. But anyway, it turns out it was Gale's ability to mask mask
yeah.
Harry dying
So,
and
so
not
he sort of
dying,
he sort of
rather.
did die. Yeah, he
Yeah,
sort of did die, but she saved him, so she knew he was dying. Took control of one of the guards. You know, like tell him pretty
yeah,
much. Took control of this guy, got him to save Harry, and then got Harry to kill him. So yeah,
yeah.
thanks, but
Yeah,
no thanks.
cheers then. Yeah,
Yeah, and then sort of like left him in the chained him up, and then they used their mental powers of counting primes to sort of shield their
yeah.
thoughts from Tellem. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch,
It is a bit of a
but
stretch. Yeah,
yeah, I
I
didn't
like
I
my
didn't quite
robot idea
buy that, but
better, but
well, I mean it's interesting because like the Una's world, we still don't know anything what that really was all about.
yeah,
So maybe we'll come to that in season 3. Um,
yeah. I'd really quite
you
like
know,
to find out.
it,
I mean, it's a mystery, you know.
yeah.
Fucking
So
Callie's
I mean,
there, you know.
they wrapped up a lot of stuff in this episode, but yeah, there's still a few. There's still quite a few holes. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
and that's definitely one of them. Who the hell was that woman in Una's world and stuff? Like, what's that relationship to the Radiant? How the fuck did she make a human Harry? Why did she
yeah,
make a human Harry?
yeah,
It's still loads and loads of questions. So that will all be hopefully in season 3, if there is a season 3. Although it's still a bit up in the air whether it's going to get one. But
really.
I heard that they'd start someone. There was a rumor that they'd already started production on it, but then a lot of I think a couple of characters were like, "Well, we just don't know." stuff like that. So
The
we don't
band,
know.
it's a good season.
Yeah,
It's a good
I think
series.
it will.
Yeah, it's
It'll have
well
to. But
done.
again,
I mean, regardless of like nitpicks and stuff like that, which there's not that many really, in my opinion. That there's not much to pick about. Uh, there's a couple of things in this episode I didn't like, but I
yeah,
mean, I'm not just going to go, oh fuck it all then. Do you know what I mean? Because like
yeah,
the last two episodes were fucking brilliant.
yeah, they were really good.
And that's the potential it's got, and of course it's a classic sci-fi story. Although people, keep going on about, oh, it's gone off the book. So, but yeah, and I get it, but I just think out of everything that we've been given as entertainment, in the last couple of years, it's the best thing on the telly. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
would say it's definitely. Yeah, I can't really think of much more that I've enjoyed as much. I must
mm,
say, there's been a few bits and bobs, but like we like sci-fi, and I want a decent sci-fi series, and like everything else has been, again, we talked about Invasion. Invasion season one was all right. I
yeah,
mean, it
it
wasn't
had
great, but
potential.
like
Yeah,
it had potential. It was interesting and stuff, but like though they just sort of second series,
they
it's
dropped the ball
just
completely.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't know what the fuck's going on in that. So I've kind of
Mm.
yeah, it's more of a hate watch at the moment that I'm watching that.
I
But
mean,
we're
it
sort
might
of
get better,
yeah,
but I mean, how many
yeah.
episodes do you need
It's
to
only
fucking say what you want to say, sort of thing? Um,
yeah,
there's a lot.
but yeah.
I mean,
Anyway,
it might be worth
bugger
just
it.
doing a review on it, just to, like you say, hate watch it. But I've got a lot of hate towards it, so be
Yeah,
nice to express
nice.
that. Um, so,
But
and I mean,
yeah,
and then the telepaths turn up, and I thought these fucking creepy telepaths. So they
yeah.
explain a bit with, with Harry surviving and stuff like that. And then the telepaths turned up, and it's just like, oh, really?
In their
I knew they
dirty
would.
peasant procession, yeah, all sort of
Yeah.
like
There's so many fucking
trudging through the
kids as
forest
well.
as one, all in silence, because that's how people want them to be. I expect, it's always the
Mm.
same with the crowds. Crowds are always like, oh, look how peaceful they are.
Yeah,
But yeah,
they're not
just
peaceful.
compliant sort of people. Yeah, no, actually, no, they're not. They're fucking lunatics.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they sort of turn up, and we see, yeah, they all bow. They all get
Oh
down on
God,
their
I hate that
knees and throw
shit.
Gale and Harry. Yeah, that was a bit
Yeah.
sick. I'd have been like, don't do that.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Um,
But I mean, so moving on. So we go to Dusk and Rue and Demerzal in the
yeah.
mural, and
So yeah, you were right about her being, a triggering a sensor is what brought her back from
yeah,
Terminus. So yeah, which made sense. Yeah, it's
and the
absolutely
blind
right. She was like,
angels. She was involved in that, which was kind of
yeah,
obvious.
yeah, to frame Sareth, she said.
Yeah.
And then as she's saying that, she said, "Well, I did that to frame Sareth."
Hmm.
And as she did that, we see a little sequence of Sareth getting sort of like shrouded while she's
Mm.
out picking fruit in the forest, like fucking people do. Yeah,
Foreign,
oh, I'm
yeah,
picking fruit. I think that's
off-world
supposed to
fruit.
indicate that she's like a kind of innocent soul or something. The sort of
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like
yeah.
fucking easily amused by fruit, and then gets shrouded, which is like, okay.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so Dusk and Dusk kind of knows he's going to die. Pretty much. Demerzal's just like he goes on about how Cleon imprisoned her and now she's free, but he fucked with her mind and that sort of shit. They try to kind of he sort of makes an attempt to talk her out of it, and so does Rue, saying
Yeah.
we can you don't we can let you go, just let us live, and we won't do this. You're going to erase our memories, and she's like, no, because you'll get them back.
I did kind of
Um,
wonder how is she allowed to kill Dusk?
don't know, just to protect the dynasty, I suppose, and also
Yeah.
knowing the fact that yeah, I mean, again, we kind of sort of thought before that she wasn't allowed to physically harm them, but I mean, I suppose the fact she can decant them maybe she's twisting it all in her mind. She's twisting
Yeah,
up her directives and stuff. It's it was a little bit ambiguous.
yeah.
But yeah, she said to them, if you try to fuck with my programming, I will kill you.
I
Sort
mean,
of stuff, and they're like,
it
oh
was a pretty good scene. I mean, I thought Dusk. It was quite, emotional. Like he said, he
yeah,
forgave her, and like he loved her, and she loved him, and all the rest of it. And but I'm still going to kill you. But then we didn't see her kill him.
no, we just saw her sort of walk towards them, and then
Yeah,
she walks out, and they're not there.
it was definitely
Like
implied
presumably,
that she was
yeah,
going
no,
to,
yeah, definitely
fuck him
implied that they're
up.
lying on
But
the floor dead. Yeah, I can't think
the other thing
what
I
else she would
thought
have
about
done.
it was that because, like, he says, "Oh, we can reprogram you," and she goes, "Well, I'd have to destroy you," but she's going to fucking destroy him anyway. So we might as well give it a go.
Yeah,
Say to her, "Well, look, just let me have a go. You're going to kill me anyway,
yeah.
so why not? See how far we can get, sort of thing."
I
But
suppose she's like a self-preservation is fucking more important, maybe.
mm,
So even just the chance that they might piss around with her.
yeah,
But yeah, so I mean, she seemed reasonably sort of not upset, but agitated by the whole thing.
yeah,
Demerzal,
she's a bit twitchy. Yeah,
yeah, she's
um,
proper twitchy.
bit twitchy. Like there's problems going on, like a conflict maybe going
Yeah,
on
and sort of
with the programming.
and ruin Dusk have a little hug as they're about to get probably I don't know neck snapped or something.
I would hope she'd
So
do it in the quickest, most efficient way possible. You know,
yeah, not like sort of punch them to death. Yeah, do you
start
know what I
pulling
mean?
organs out or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pulling their fingers off. Yeah, like a fly or
yeah.
something like that.
Um,
Yeah, pull
I
his
still
ears
would,
off.
I still would have loved to know what Dusk's memories, the ones that she'd deleted,
Yeah, we
were.
didn't really know, did we?
No,
And again, that
uh,
whole her messing with their genome and stuff was never addressed in this episode at all, like what the goal
no.
was. So maybe there's more to that,
It's a fucking complicated relationship she's got, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. So
honestly.
yeah. I mean, I suppose the fact that she's murdered Dusk, which you would think wouldn't be allowed, but then she did snap Dawn's neck a while back, didn't he? When he was being seduced by that girl, and she snapped Dawn's neck in the throne room. So,
Oh yeah.
so it must be more
Did
complicated
she do
than
that?
she did. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
Day
remember
went
now.
no.
Yeah.
But
Oh no, she did. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, she
Yeah,
snapped
she
his
did it. But
neck.
I suppose she's got it's sort of like the allegiance to Cleon almost overrides everything. So even though Cleon's dead, it's his wishes she's carrying out. So even if she has to like knock a couple off and decant new ones, it still perpetuates the
Yeah,
dynasty, if you're from
um,
America.
and also in the last episode, she did say to Cleon the First that I'll be looking after your half men. So she
Yeah.
probably doesn't consider them, like a kosher part of
Yeah.
Cleon, if you like. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah,
And
it's ambiguous because it's sort of excuse me, yeah, it was sort of implied that she couldn't touch them and then she can, and so yeah, it's a bit unexplained still.
hopefully we'll get more the ins and outs of her
Yeah,
programming later on. So and then we go to Day, um,
yeah. So they're off terminus, aren't they?
still
Still
enjoying his
gloating.
moment. He's got a
Yeah,
proper orgasm face on, hasn't he?
yes, yeah. And then he's like, right, we're off to destroy all the other places as well.
Yeah,
Destroy Thespis and Anacreon and the other one's Sowena,
yeah,
Smyrno or something. She said. I was
yeah,
watching it with subtitles. I was like Smyrno.
yeah.
Um,
No, that's Hober Mallow's home planet.
yeah, but
Yeah,
but but then at this point, Bel Rio says no. He says we did what you wanted, and to prevent further bloodshed. So like, we're not doing it in days like, oh, I gave you an order type shit. And he's still like, nah, ain't doing it. So what happens then? Oh, do they have a fight? No, it's not, isn't it? He goes, right, you're relieved of command.
Right.
And then he sells the spaces. He said, right, I want you to get us out of here. And she goes, yeah, okay. And then just like fucks around. And then all the ships start blowing up.
Yeah. Well, he has a fight
Mm.
with Hober Mallow, sort of,
Oh, yeah.
and then he has a fight with Belrios when it all kicks off. Yeah. So the folding of space, she's programmed all of the fleet ships to jump into each other, and it can't be undone. And she's disabled all of the. Is it She Ben's Light? Is that her name?
I think so, yeah.
The spacer lady. Yeah. So they've done that, and you can't undo the folding of space apparently once you've initiated it. Which kind of makes sense. Um,
Yeah. So he's
and
sort of annoyed. It's Hober Mallow actually says something to him as well. It's just like this whole thing was a ruse, which is kind of
yeah,
what I think I said before. Like I thought it was
yeah,
a ruse to get people there, but like I kind of thought maybe Demerzal wanted them out of the way to get there, but yeah, the whole thing was a ruse to get them there,
mm,
and and he said you just did exactly what we wanted because you're so fucking predictable.
yeah,
So there's a lot the worst thing you can say to sort of him because he's got this thing about being unique, isn't he?
yeah,
So like he was proper pissed. So like you say, he gives Hober a bit of a old kick in.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I did wonder why he didn't kill Belrios straight away, but it's all like protocol, isn't it? I mean, he's stood him down. He has a fight with Hober Mallow, then Belrios gets back involved,
mm,
and they start having a fight. And then I thought, I kind of like when I first saw it, I thought I wished Belrios had given him more of a kicking. But then I realised that Day's still got his nanobots, so it's not a fair fight. And I mean, the different weight classes
mm,
anyway. I think I even had a look at the boxing weight class for men.
really?
Yeah, because I thought maybe because obviously Day's bigger and he's more. I wouldn't call him a heavyweight. I don't think he's as big as Mike Tyson. I wouldn't say. But
No.
I've gone down another thing again. But Bel Rios is definitely a lighter weight fighting wise. Plus, he doesn't have nano tech to fix him up as he's
Yeah.
being beaten up. So that kind of explains that. Um, do do
But yeah, it's a
do.
pretty bloody fight, and they're
Yeah,
sort of
it's
like
quite
proper kicking
brutal.
10 bells out of each other, and sort of spitting in each other's faces a lot. It's just kind of gross. Do people do that in
Yeah,
fights?
I
I don't know.
fucking love it. He said,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
yeah,
It's,
and
oh, you just gobbed blood in my face, you bastard.
but sort of the upshot is that the entire fleet has been completely fucking destroyed. So that's a bit of a blow
Mm.
for the Empire. And I also
Yeah,
thought,
but
go on.
well, I was going to say, but Empire gets killed at that point. Yeah.
Mm,
So they have the fight. They have the fight, and then Empire goes, "Well, I'm going to," picks up Belrius by the neck, chucks him in the airlock, and goes, "Right, that's it." But basically, and then he sort of spews out into space, and then you just see his face change.
mm.
And it's and I kind of thought that was going to happen just
Did you?
as that scene was happening. Yeah.
I
Just,
didn't.
just,
Yeah,
just at that moment, yeah, just at that moment, I thought, and then yeah, it's like because I thought it was weird with the castling device before why they mentioned it in that scene.
yeah,
I think we might
right.
have remarked upon that. It was weird that he said, "What's this?" Oh, it's a castling device. It just sort of like seemed a weird thing to start talking about while they were in prison. So
Mm,
yeah, that was what that was all about. Although Harry sort of gave it to him and gave him the wink that you might need this or something. I don't know. But yeah, Belrios
did
is
he?
smart, so he took that.
Did
Hmm?
Harry say to him, "You might need
Hober
them"?
Mallow,
Did he? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's when Hober
Oh,
Mallow
oh, I'm
when
with you
when they
now. Yeah.
when they got
Mm.
Belrius was talking to them in the last episode. He was like, "What's this?" He goes, "Oh, it's a castling device." I mean, that whole castling device thing was kind of stupid, I thought, anyway. And that's how we get to see Hober Mallow in the first episode he appears in. I thought that whole episode was kind of just setting up this castling device,
They had to. Yeah.
probably just for this moment,
Hmm.
like, because otherwise it would have been like a bit of a, if they hadn't done that episode with this stupid sort of governor on that sort of military
Hmm.
planet, then this castling device would have been a bit of a shit excuse to get out of Bel Rios being killed. So they had to do that. So yeah, I'm not sure if I was happy about that.
Hmm.
You know, if I
Yeah.
was happy about that way for him to die, it seemed a bit contrived.
So now the
But
spaces
he's
are
dead.
free. Yeah, he's dead. Um, and I was glad about that. And there's some nice shots of him floating away with snot and tears sort of flying out of him as he went to that destroyed planet. And then
Yeah,
he was out in space. Spaces are now free. Um, everyone knows they're going to die on the ship because that's the way it is. And they managed to get Constant out on a little pod,
yeah.
which
There's
is
there's
limits.
one pod.
Yeah.
There's one cleaning pod. That's what they said. A cleaning pod, I think. So it goes outside and cleans the ship. Like one pod out of
Mm,
the whole fleet. Fucking
yeah.
weird. Like, do not all ships have them? Why would you have it anyway? To clean the outside of the ship? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed a bit weird. Why just one? And also like the inside of this cleaning pod was just like a cushioned empty room. There's no controls in there or anything. So how would this cleaning pod work if you were sent out to clean the ship?
Mm.
Just seemed weird. It was more like a little sort of cubby sort of bed thing. Yeah, I didn't buy that either. It seemed a bit
I would have liked a
extraneous.
bit more of a. I don't know. I think I would have liked Data would have got more fucked up than he did before he died to sort of
Mm.
justify killing off Belrios's husband and destroying an entire planet. But anyway, there was quite a nice sort of scene between Mallow and Belrios with the wine, and you could see that they're
Yeah,
both doing really good jobs acting. I thought because they looked frightened and they were just trying to talk to each other to get their minds off of this impending doom. And you
yeah,
had the wine, and the wine was shit. Um,
yeah.
and 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 that is just how life is. Do you know what I mean? You can't even get a decent glass of wine when you're about to
The
die.
last moments of your life, yeah.
I was
And they
sad.
make a toast to Becky's arsehole, don't they?
Yeah.
They said it tastes like Becky's arsehole.
I think they did a good job acting it. I am sad they've gone. Um,
I mean, I didn't understand why they all sort of why the Spacers did that, and everyone just sort of went, yeah, like I'm just going to kill everyone here, including ourselves, and like none of them could escape. I thought, I don't know. I mean, I get
yeah,
it, but like it seemed a bit like you know, ha- it might have been another
it's a
way.
massive sacrifice. It's 10% of their children of the spaces to do that. And yeah, I know freedom's not fucking free. There's a mighty
Mm,
fucking fee. Um,
yeah.
so, but yeah, I think they could have come up with a better way of getting their freedom back. I don't know.
It's like there must be, yeah, I
Anyway,
don't know. It's like there must be, maybe they could have had a different way to disable the ships, even if they'd have just disabled the jump drives. Like those ships would fucking take, 100 years to get back to Trantor or something, because it took 80 years to get to Terminus, didn't it, from
yeah,
Trantor in the original series?
yeah, that's
It took
right.
something like 80 or 100 years. So they could have just disabled the jump drives and they'd just been stuck there. I mean, still possibly a threat, but like a leaderless sort of, plus, like Bel Rios was kind of like he had everyone on his side at that point.
Yeah,
He could
I
have
was
he could
kind
have
of
just said,
looking for
right,
the
okay,
mutiny.
the Empire's fucked us over. We're now stuck, and we're going to
Mm.
be stuck for a very long time. But maybe we can do some good. I don't know, it just seemed a bit over the top, for the spaces to make that decision for everyone. The best
Well, they
way to
did
deal with this
wipe out.
situation is to kill myself.
They did wipe out Empire's entire fleet. So I suppose, is that worth the sacrifice?
Yeah, but again, Bel Rios was sort of like he's the head of the fleet, and
Mm,
they all respected him, and pretty much everyone I think sort of agreed with him that Empire had gone too far.
mm,
He could have rallied those people, but like they didn't, Spacers didn't even give him a chance.
no.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like he could have just
Yeah.
stranded them there, and
I mean, you could argue
I don't
that
know.
they saved 6 planets and the population's larger than the amount of people
Yeah,
they've killed, but I don't know.
but
Anyway, we might get a bit
even
more.
so,
There
yeah,
might be something more to it that we'll get to in a couple of years' time
maybe.
when they do season 3. Um,
Mm. So yeah, that was all. So that Christ, that loads of them are dead.
yeah,
It's weird. While that I think that while that's all happening, we see we're back on Trantor, and Dawn sees Sareth getting sort of frog marched with her shroud on. He's like to Demerzal, he's like, what the fuck are you doing with
yeah,
my girlfriend?
yeah,
Sort of thing. And she's like, oh well, she's a traitor. She's a traitor, and there's proof, beyond doubt. And he's like, well, that's bollocks. And she's like,
yeah,
no, it is. She went, no, I've seen it. Nothing you can do. And then she sees this green pigment on Demerzal. He sees pigment on Demerzal's neck,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then we get his little flashback,
yeah.
which again, yeah.
It wasn't necessary to put that in. I knew what it meant, but maybe for people on it.
I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't sort of.
Oh, didn't you? Oh,
I didn't really understand. And then there was a flashback to it, obviously, sort of like why the green mark on the mural, and
traitor.
it was added after, it means betrayer. And I remember at the time thinking, why would a green mark on your neck mean you're a betrayer? So it didn't kind of make sense. And again, now it looks like that scene was specifically put there
Yeah,
just so we would have this scene, which I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
think was kind of, I don't know. I thought it was a bit pointless. Yeah, like you say, it didn't need to be there.
I
I
did
don't think
wonder
they
at the
needed to go that
time.
effort.
I mean, when Dusk and Dawn were like figuring out that they had, their memories were dodgy, and they sort of, and they went to the memoriam place, and they had this chat about the guy with the green stripe and everything, and the mural, and they were talking about it. I did kind of wonder about that, and then when you
Yeah.
went to see the in the mural again, where the robot is sort of, the picture of the robot, he had a green stripe as well. Uh,
Oh, did he? Didn't
yeah,
notice that.
I mean, it's a thing. So that kind of gives Dawn even the heads up, and it was kind of like Dusk's last action,
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
stop
because it kind of made
Demerzal.
that moment. It changed that moment where he sort of like was really tender towards her just before he was about to die, and you
Mm,
realise that he wasn't completely being tender. It was literally like a last ditch attempt to fucking let
clever.
the others know what was going on. So yeah, he's smart. I mean, they're all smart, aren't they?
Mm,
But so he sort of twigs that straight away,
yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, okay then," and sort of
See you
runs
later.
off to hatch another sort of plot. But then she sees that pigment in a reflection, doesn't she? Like Demerzal goes, and
But
she's like, she must know what it means as well.
of course,
But I mean, I would have thought she would have noticed it, like when he put it on her neck, probably, seeing as she's very, an advanced robot. You would have thought she'd have sort of noticed some sort of physical change. I don't know.
yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
I kind of thought, well, it was quite an emotional, blah blah blah. But
Yeah,
here's the thing, right? I mean, Demerzal can produce tears, but I don't know if they actually mean anything to her as a robot. I don't know if it's
yeah.
just a learned behaviour, or I mean, initially she started producing tears because she was being tortured by that guy, Ouroboros, or whatever his name is, the other emperor, Ouroboros, something like that. The ones before the Cleons, and the one that locked her up, and because she knew that he liked to cause pain, she created teas to,
Yeah,
for that. So I don't know if actually the teas mean anything, or if they do. So, and if they do mean something, then I could see her not noticing, that in the heat of the moment, sort of thing. But then
yeah.
why have her notice the fact that that shit's on her neck now and that Dawn's seen it and not do anything about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I agree. It was sort of, I mean, I mean, I presume they're trying to get across to us that she's like majorly conflicted by this whole thing.
yeah.
Like, she needs to kill them, but she doesn't want to kill them because of her programming, but
Mm,
she has to, and it's difficult to know who she's sort of working for. Like, is she working for her own interest or is it purely for Cleon? And I think
yeah.
it's like, I mean, I think we might have been right in our initial assessment is that she might just be batshit.
She
She might
might.
just be like so being pulled in too many directions
Mm,
by her what she wants and the programming that what they've told her to do. That she's just fucking all over the place. So she may very well be just completely fucking batshit crazy, like we originally thought. But then we'd be like, oh, we don't really want her to be like that. We want her to be more calculating. But I
yeah.
didn't get I didn't get the sense throughout any of this that she was, I don't know. I was expecting for her to more be like, ha ha ha, it was me. It was me all along, you stupid humans. Like
Yeah.
that, which would have
I'm
been a bit
your
more fun.
overlord.
She did, yeah, she didn't seem sort of scared. Like, if she'd have done that and been really sort of quite scary and maniacal, it would have been sort of, I was kind of expecting that. But in the end, we just got her and she's just sort of like
Mm.
broken. Which I don't know, is probably better,
You think in
but
600 G's she might have come up with a way to get that shit out of her neck? I don't know.
yeah, or start trying to build new copies of herself because I was convinced that she'd done that somehow.
Yeah, I was looking
So
forward to the robot army. Yeah.
yeah, or even in League with the Spaces thing. I was expecting her to finish this episode like pure gloat, like yeah, this was my thing all along, but we kind of never really that didn't happen at all.
No.
Like she was in charge. She seemed to be just reacting much more than sort of doing stuff in this episode. She's like
Mm.
almost circumstances not out of her control. I didn't quite buy it, I must say, but I thought she was more calculating.
Yeah. But we see
But
that
yeah,
Dawn and Sareth sort of make an escape, don't they?
yeah. So they get out and they're like, oh, she says, they'll find us. We can't hide, and he says, well, we're not going to. So then we see so Demerzal's with sort of generals and what have you, or advisors, and they're like, "Yeah, it's true. All the fleet's fucked," you know, and like she can't. I think she knows that's happened. But then there's a transmission, and it's Dawn and Sareth giving a little impromptu speech,
Yeah.
saying to the populace, sort of like saying, "My brother is dead, but I'm going to marry this young woman," that sort of thing. And she's like, "I will have you, brother."
Mm.
Um, Presumably to get the people on their side or something. I mean, to be honest, if I was a citizen of Trantor, I'd be like, "Fuck these guys, man! A fucking royal wedding. I just do not care."
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, who cares whether you're marrying your fucking. He's like only been dead like less than an hour.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, you're marrying his fucking girlfriend, and we're supposed to like fall behind that. I don't fucking think so. Do you know what I mean? But that's their fucking arrogance, maybe. But I think it sort of implied that that would do massive damage,
Mm.
and the people would fall behind them. I just didn't buy it. I thought
Mm.
everyone knows Empire's a cunt. Excuse my language.
Yeah, well, they are. Demerzal says she's going to
Yeah,
track him down. So
yeah.
they're going to. I don't know. Are
Oh,
they going to
and
survive
she's
that?
pregnant. Yeah, and she's
She's
pregnant. She
pregnant.
says, but and Demerzal's like, your child is just a cluster of dividing cells. Sort of come across all like mental, like it's not
Yeah.
alive. But she seems upset while she's saying that, kind of conflicted.
Yeah.
Like she seems kind of sort of happy and not happy at the same time. And I think maybe that's the thing with her. She's just being pulled in too many different directions
Yeah.
emotionally, as we all are.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I
Mm,
mean, like,
yeah,
Dawn's. You see, another thing I sort of thought about as well. They go on about Demersal having this religion where it's the maiden, mother, and hag, uh, sort of three aspects of a woman thing. And I thought in the last episode, I thought it was a subtle thing that they were trying to say, like, she's the mum, she was the mum to Dawn, she was the maiden today, all a bit sexy, but she hasn't been the hag yet. And like from
Yeah.
other sort of mythology that I think I've read several books where they've used this three aspects of a woman: religion, the friends of Akate, which apparently is a little bit evil, and there's some other stuff I can't even remember where I read it. But like the hag is supposed to be the evil, and I thought, well, she hasn't been the hag yet, so I was kind of hoping she'd go like
Yeah.
fully fucking total crone or hag, but that
Go
didn't.
full crone.
Full
Yeah.
crone.
Full crone. My beauty. Something along those lines.
Yeah, and like kind of Dawn sort of reiterates the fact that Demerzal was like a mother to him, and she's been fucking day, so she's been a maid, a
Yeah.
maiden
I mean,
for the day.
yeah, I thought that was sort of quite interesting
Mm,
because he says, I know you're programmed to look after me, but I like to have thought you would have done it anyway. And I thought that was sort of quite important, because it's
yeah,
like, because she might have done. And I suppose, again, this is, I mean, it just leads more into the confusion that she's nuts. Is
yeah,
that how much of what her behavior is programming or how much is her? And I think she even says such a thing herself.
hmm,
It's like I just don't know what's me and what's not.
yeah,
So she may very, so it's like, does it matter if you're programmed to care for these people if you were going to care for them anyway? Of course, it does matter because, but
yeah.
but yeah. So I mean, and all this time she's just sort of, she's like you
Twitching,
say, she was twitchy, sort of
yeah.
crying and shit, and
Error,
murdering people and crying
error,
about it, and
yeah,
yeah, exactly, error, yeah,
yeah.
fucking hell.
But
So,
I
so
thought, yeah, go on.
well, no, I was just going to say, I thought that, it was going to come to a head, and she was going to go either full batshit
Mm,
and crazy,
full
but like
crone.
she kind of, yeah, full crone, yeah, but she didn't. She just sort of like, I mean, she didn't kill Empire.
No.
Bel Rios did. Maybe she thought it might happen, but
Mm,
like again, she was mostly reacting in this episode to for like things out of her control,
yeah.
rather than the sort of it was me all along, everything. So I wasn't super satisfied with that. I
No.
must say, I was expecting her to be sort of
I
more.
mean, it'd be kind of interesting to find out what happens to. I mean, if Sareth and Dawn actually do manage to escape and have the baby, and
Yeah.
it's an offshoot of the Empire.
Well, is I thought for one second, I was like, their child, is that the mule?
Mm,
Maybe I kind of thought that was, but I mean, I'm not sure, but I don't think so. But I just thought, because we still don't really know where the mule comes from. We know he's sort of a telepath, so we all presumed he would be coming from those fucking lunatics on that planet.
yeah,
But then
yeah,
I thought, when now you've got a new child who is genetically part Empire, so he's part of the dynasty, but like he won't be a full clone. Plus Cloud Dominion, whatever they fucking bring to the table. Well, like, what's their place going to be? So is it, I thought then, okay, because that, we need an origin story for the mule.
yeah,
And now
yeah,
we've got like a sort of unborn child. I thought, well, maybe that was that. I don't know if that's going to be true because there's the time difference. We've still got like 150 years in the future is when, the mule and stuff. So, but then everyone's traveling through time and shit, aren't they?
yeah.
But yeah, that was just a thought. But yeah,
Also,
so
as
whether they
well.
get away,
So I thought, well, now that Dawn's with Sareth and they've run off, he'd get his memories back because they've got
oh,
that
true, yeah,
technology. Yeah,
yeah, of
there
course,
might be stuff in there that might be helpful to them. I don't know.
yeah, and of
Don't
course, like
know.
if there's no fleet left, then Cloud Dominion are probably safe for now. You
Mm.
know,
And
um,
they seem like pretty up to speed technology wise.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I still didn't really trust her. I thought, I
Mm,
mean, the whole thing I thought was Sareth, I'm talking about, is that she was manipulating Dawn
yeah.
in order just to fucking break down Empire from within to make them all
Mm,
at each other's throats. But that never materialized either.
mm,
I would have thought like a scrap between brothers might have been more fun. Do you
mm.
know what I mean? With her sort of like, yeah, that's right. Maybe she's the maiden,
That's
maybe she's
right.
the maiden in this scenario. Um, but she seems to be, I mean, her character, weird. I thought it was, she sort of went from rather calculating and scheming to
Mm,
sort of innocent and vulnerable, sort of back and forth. And now she just seems to be sort of genuine. And I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy that at all.
mm,
Unless, of course, we see something else. I thought maybe she would get away with Dawn and then fucking cut his throat.
mm.
So all I was after was the baby. So I've got a claim to the throne or some shit like that.
Yeah,
But
there's
that never
easy
happened
ways of
either.
getting knocked up, though, isn't there? Let's face it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she just sort of like, they bugger off into the sunset. So yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, so they're gone.
don't trust her.
Um, Ignis. So we go back to Ignis, and
Yeah.
this is something I didn't like, which was the
Yeah.
Josiah, that little kid.
Yeah. So Salvor's playing with some kids, isn't she? Sort of like flipping her coin and all her powers are back and
Hmm.
everyone's kind of chilling out. And then, yeah, Gail's sort of like wandering around.
Bit of a jump scare,
Yeah. And then like,
sort of like, fuck's sake, he actually isn't dead yet. Tell him.
yeah, like, you would have thought
Mm.
people would have noticed. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, that again, I didn't particularly like that. And again, the whole sort of like leaping in front of the bullet thing. I did that in slow motion, but she didn't do it in the
No,
show.
it's
Shall I do
very
it again?
good. I enjoyed that. Yeah. Yeah.
While throwing the knife, Foof. Good
Yeah.
fucking shot,
Was
like.
it Rachel's
Yeah.
knife she uses? I don't know. To save Gail? Was that a thing
Oh, I
that
don't
they
know. I
was
thought
that
about
I
yeah,
don't
but
know. But then they killed fucking Salvor off.
yeah, that
Um
sucked.
that hurt my heart. My heart
Yeah,
was
that
hurt by
really.
that.
Yeah, that was like. I mean, we
She's my
talked before. It's
favourite
good.
character.
Yeah, mine too. And I think it was
Mm,
like because she's the most sort of righteous, not sort of mental righteous, but like she just seems to
she's just
have everyone's
fucking
best interest
sensible.
at heart. But
Yeah.
also she's tough as fucking, tough as nails. But like, whereas everyone else is like Gail's fucking all over the place. You just don't know who's good and bad, and they're both, which is good. But
Mm.
like, it was nice to have someone who was sort of genuinely decent
Yeah,
and
just
sort
don't
of
know
like,
where I've got
you
shit
know,
done. Yeah.
didn't have any secret motives like the rest of them, like Gail
Mm,
and Harry. I mean, keeping secrets from Salvor, and I know they had to do it, but even
mm,
so, that must have hurt a bit.
mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, your mum and your uncle, or your granddad, sorry. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I was
But it's
pissed
weird,
at
as she's
that.
dying, she calls Gail mum, doesn't she? She goes, Mum,
Yeah, that I kind of
I'm
went, "Hmm."
scared. Yeah.
Yeah, I really, yeah,
Mum.
I'm annoyed she's gone.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's any coming back from that. Well, I can't
No.
see how there can be. I think if
The first thing
because I
I'd
mean,
do
there's a
is
few.
Gail was get my little telepath mates to make some nanobots so you could fucking avoid that shit in the future. I mean, they
I
could
mean,
just read
yeah, I mean
someone's
that.
mind and figure it out, couldn't they?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like if in the next series she turns up on day one and all of a sudden Salvor just walks out of some fucking clone vat and she's like, "It's me," I would be annoyed by that. But
Well,
again,
yeah,
I didn't think she needed to die.
no,
I personally I really liked her. She was always really sort of like. I mean, it's weird because I was never that keen on her in the first series. But I think it's because you know, um,
mm,
I don't know. She seemed rather cold and stuff, but it made sense as things went on.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Why she sort of
yeah.
the way she
She's
was
a
and stuff
character
like that.
made sense, didn't she?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
she changed. That's the thing. The great thing, she changed over the course of the series, whereas not a lot of the others have.
yeah,
And she became just sort of things were simplified almost to her. It
mm,
was like, well, I've just got to save the people I care about,
yeah,
and she had a clear set of morals and goals and stuff. And yeah, it was a
mm,
real shame. It's a real
yeah.
shame.
She says to Gail at the
Um,
end, "I have absolute faith in you," which is what Hugo used to say to Salvor.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking Gale, this whole fucking thing. Like, I still don't understand why they're there, why they went to Ignis and went to all this shit. So I mean, it's confusing at the end as well because, like,
Yeah,
um,
right. Yeah, I know what
you
you're
know,
talking about.
yeah, what the fuck is going on?
Mm.
So yeah, basically she's dead. Harry and Gail are both cut up about it, obviously. Um, and the little kid, yeah, so the
Yeah,
little
poor
kid
little mate.
dies. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, what else?
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, thought it was. I mean, all of them are fucking creepy as fuck anyway. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, so. But again, I still don't really understand what the point of them is. I mean, they kind of they allude later on that they are the second foundation or they will be
Yeah.
sort of shit. But like, there's confusing bits at the end. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so
Constance out in the middle of the void, and
right,
oh, and guess what happens? The vault turns up.
yeah, the vault turns out. So we did say about the vault, didn't we, last time about that it might survive that explosion because it's perhaps it wasn't cape because it's in. Ugh, I don't know.
Well, it
Is it
sent me
still?
down another. I've spent about half an hour on Chat GPT asking it about fucking string theory because I thought the
Oh
only
Christ!
fucking way that could be a thing is if it's multi-dimensional, not just the four dimensions.
Mm,
Then it turns out that in string theory, I still don't understand it, but like the fourth dimension's time, but apparently the
yeah.
11th dimension's time as well. If you get to the fifth and fourth, I think that this is what I'm just about basically remember. I'm probably getting it wrong. The fifth and sixth dimension is another set of worlds with the same origin as this universe, and you could probably muck about with it to go back in time or forward in time, right? Seven and eight is a bunch of universes that don't have the same origin as um universe, or the fourth and fucking I don't know what I'm talking about. And the eighth, ninth, I can't even remember, but it all gets a bit stupid, and I couldn't work out why there was two dimensions for time. I don't know if someone could let me
Yeah,
know. But because I
yeah,
was I was thinking, well, how has the vault escaped? And it would have to exist and to be massive on the inside, so it's extra dimensional inside. And it's got fucking millions of people in there. It's not just Polly, fucking Harry, and
yeah.
Constance
So
dad, or the
that's the
village
thing, isn't it?
even. Yeah,
That's the thing. Yeah. So Constant ends up going inside it, and um,
yeah,
yeah, and sort of seeing these a bit of a close encounters of the third kind sort of moment reminded me of where you see the light and then you see the silhouettes coming towards you, and then they sort of coalesce into people.
yeah,
Always loved that movie. Perhaps we should review Close Encounters.
yeah.
But that was sort of interesting. And yeah, so we see Polly, and
Mm,
of course, we talked about this last week,
yeah.
and I was, like, Polly could have survived. And then, of course, it's like, aha, he
Da
is
da
fucking
da.
survived. And then, yeah, and then fucking Harry, that of course, he's fucking there. Um, and then he's like, oh, not just us. Yeah, and there's all kinds of fucking people turning out. It turns out, it looks like almost all of them are there. Doesn't explain how that happened. Doesn't explain
Mm,
how they got into the fucking vault.
no.
And Belle Rios' husband is there. Sort of like, oh fuck, where am I?
Well, like
But like, it doesn't explain.
I thought, well, if it had to expand to the entire planet to pick everybody up to rescue them, it'd have to be an extra dimensional fucking thing, not just your full dimensions. It'd have to be beyond that to,
Yeah, well, I think
like
they implied that
fucking
it
Father
sort of was
Christmas,
anyway. Yeah, yeah,
turning
they
up and
they
going
they
down everybody's chimney the night over
yeah.
Christmas.
I, I think they said that before though, didn't they? That like, the radiant was like, it's sort of it exists in extra dimensions, so there's like, you can go inside it and thing. I think the thing for me was always like, how is the vault related to the radiant? I kind of thought the vault was like another representation of the radiant, so if
No.
you go inside,
Yeah.
the radiant, you're inside the vault. But then the other radiant was inside the vault, so it was confusing.
Well,
But I mean, I suppose for me, would it survive that big explosion? Well, I suppose if it's made of crazy material, it would. But then I just still don't understand how all the people got in there. I can see him snatching Polly, because Polly was literally standing outside the vault, wasn't he?
yeah.
And we talked about that. Harry could have just grabbed him by the fucking neck and gone, "Come on!"
Yeah.
But like how he got everyone else, and when, you know,
And it wasn't just like a village worth or a town or a fucking city's worth of people. It was fucking millions of people. And you know what I mean? It
it
just sort of
seemed,
like it was infinitely there was infinite
yeah.
levels that were packed with people that went up and up and up. And
So yeah, the whole. I mean, Terminus, I think, was only sort of populated in that one town, wasn't it? But like, it was a big
as
town
far
by
as we
this point.
knew, yeah, that's all they showed.
But but then it doesn't. I mean, if they could grab all of those people, then have they got people from other planets as well? I don't know. I thought that was a bit naff, to be
Mm,
fair. I was sort of like it would have been cool to. I mean, they would have grabbed the main characters and left the peasants to die, but it would have been more realistic to just, well, we managed to save a handful of people. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
leave this sort of other people selling, eating their potatoes in the last moments. But like they managed to grab everyone,
yeah.
and that whole sort of choreographed revealing themselves by sort of poking over the top of the thing was just, I don't know. I didn't buy it,
Well,
I
I
must
mean, from the
say.
first series, his coffin was like some kind of thing that created the vault out of matter in the universe. It'd have to be extra dimensional. It'd have to be
But yeah, I'm sure. I think it is. Yeah, it is. You're right.
because apparently, because I looked this up as well, because I always thought the prime radiant was it was a quantum entanglement, and that's got nothing
Yeah.
to do with dimensions. It's
Mm.
one object, but in two spaces. It's not to
Yeah.
do with dimensions. It's to do with quantum
Yeah,
stuff.
but I think that's just another aspect of it, isn't it? So I think it is an
Yeah,
extra dimensional device. It just so happens to be also quantum entangled. But
yeah.
yeah, I still didn't really understand the relationship between that and the vault.
Anyway,
Someone please put in the comments, because like it seemed to me like the vault was an extension of the radiant. That's what I thought all the way along. Like
yeah.
like
I
there's
think
there's a
it's
radiant with kind
separate.
of two ways in,
Mm,
and like inside you can exist inside it, and that was kind of what the vault was, but it had an external thing as well.
yeah, and it's
But
only
it didn't really
experts
explain
on
it. But
fucking extra dimensional string theory. Yeah, please let us know.
yeah,
So
the relationship between the vault and the radiant, yeah, that's
yeah, that'd be nice.
so yeah,
So go back to Harry and Gale. Have a chat about grief. Demerzal decants all three Cleons at the same
yeah,
time, and it kind of occurred to me that she's just sort of thought that all of these are dead now. I know that Dawn's still about, but she could have discounted him as an entity as soon as he went off piste. And if all three of them are dead, does that mean there's no more Empire? And can she get around to programming that way? But Peter's not. Um, so
yeah.
she,
Again, it didn't make sense.
so,
Like, what's the point then?
yeah,
Yeah, I
so,
mean, yeah, I
so
mean, I suppose it's like she has to do it. It's part of her programming to
oh,
protect the dynasty, so she has to do it. She's compelled to do it, but she's been mucking around with their brains so that they
mm,
become sort of ineffectual. That was kind of our theory, I think, wasn't it?
yeah,
That,
yeah,
that like she has to do it because she's programmed to do it, but it didn't preclude her from scrambling their brains somewhat. But I mean, I don't know, because they're supposed to be kept up to date with current memories, aren't they? So you decant them, and they're almost just like the dead person. But like, none of them said that fucking Bel Rio's fucking killed me. None of
yeah.
that happened.
Well, I think in the last
You know,
in a few episodes ago, they did say that they cut out the bit where you die because obviously you wouldn't want to have that trauma
yeah,
on you. But I mean, you'd have all the stuff leading up to that. You'd have the bit where
yeah,
Cleon's just destroyed another planet, Day, and you know Dusk has been with Rue finding that shit out, and then you've got, and unless she's edited their memories she's popped them out of their
Mm.
pods. I mean, I quite like the way they did it. Like they were all stumbling out like zombies, but anyway, and then she
Speaking in
says,
unison. Yeah.
yeah, and then she said, I've got this prime radiant, but so we know where that is now, and but she hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
So,
Not yet. But she will.
uh,
All right. And
isn't it?
Gail still has the other one, so we see Gail a
Mm,
bit later playing with the Radiant. So so her and Demerzal have got like a link to each other if they wanted to use it.
mm.
They could literally just talk to each other. They could literally go there.
Now I'm wondering about
Which
that now, because like Harry's in the vault. We've got another Harry who's a live human. Is there another Harry inside the Prime Radiant still, or is that he's gone now? Has that just got Calais and the other construct in there? I don't know.
well, like I say, I'm convinced that the Vault is sort of the Radiant. It's that's like he's in there. Because Salvor went through the Radiant to get through to the other Radiant, and it was inside the Vault. That's what I think. The Vault is basically the inside of the Radiant. That's the way I got it. That's the way I thought it
See,
was
that'd
all
have to
along.
be
But it just
extra
didn't.
dimensional as well.
Well, it is extra dimensional. Yeah, I mean they said that. He said it's like larger on the inside and stuff. So yeah, it is. You're right, completely.
Well, I'm glad I
But it's
spent
just
half an
yeah,
hour on Chat GPT then. Fairness, no.
yeah, and I'll be giving that thing ideas, man. That'll be Demerzal in the future, effectively. To be
It didn't
teaching that
know.
stuff about all the
It just
things
go.
it could do.
It was going. Oh, it's just
No.
Well, he said. It said that like string theory is like theoretical physics, and no one really knows. But some of it's been proven. There's a thing called this
Yeah.
Calabi Yao. This dude called Yao figured it. There was Calabi who came up with the theory, and then Yao he proved it. Proved this string theory things. Calabi Yao. There was some fucking things. I don't know. I wrote some notes down on it, but it's really not relevant, I don't think, to anything. But it did send me
Mm.
off for a while. Um, yeah, the other thing, leave Thalos. So they've left Thalos in charge, which Thalos is the blonde girl who've not really had much um, sort of experience with, one of the creepy telepaths. They've left her in charge, and they're going to go and sleep in their
Well,
pods.
I didn't understand this again because so Harry was like, we've still got 2 sleep pods, which they just happen to have. But he's like, he says basically, we'll put you in cryo sleep,
Mm,
and then I'll teach the second foundation. And I was like, oh, so they are the second foundation because that's the first time he mentioned it.
yeah,
You know, like, oh, so they are the second foundation then. And he says,
yeah,
I'll teach them while you're asleep. But like he's in his 60s, so he
yeah,
can only teach them for a couple of decades at
yeah.
most, and then they have to fend for themselves and just like you know. But then Gail's like, but we've got time. We could both do it together and take a year. She said, well, we could take a year, meaning they could both teach them and then go into cryo sleep. And I was like, okay. But
But
then
that's
it
it.
seems like they just instantly just went into it. So
Yeah,
like it didn't say, oh, a year later they passed because those people were still like in fucking rags with dirt on their faces and like children.
kneeling.
So I
Yeah,
don't really understand that. Like, how are they going to like? Okay, that we'll just let them figure out how to be the second foundation on their own. It just didn't make sense. They just
no,
like said, "Oh, we're going to sleep now for 150 years. Please don't, no one touch any of the buttons." Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they're going to leave a bunch of kids in that room,
yeah.
fucking bored out of their minds. Beep beep
And
beep beep. You woke me
also,
up too early, you
there's
bastard.
there's blue fish in the ocean. You don't have to eat the screaming mollusks.
They
There's
should have said that as they were closing the thing. Don't eat
yeah,
the fucking mollusks.
yeah. Just find
Yeah,
another food source for
eat
fuck's
something
sake.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah, eat something else. So,
um,
so that didn't make sense. That totally like threw me at the end. Like,
yeah.
so I just don't get it. How are they supposed to become the second foundation if you're just going to leave them to it?
Yeah, if you're
like as a
just going to
bunch of
pop out once a year
pips.
and just going, how's it going? Do you know what I mean? And yeah, they're not really teaching them fucking anything, are they?
Yeah,
So,
they could literally pop out in literally 1 year's time and find there's just no one there because
mm.
they're all starved because none of
They
them
ran
know
out
what
of
to fucking
mollusks.
do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or they've all just like, yeah, they've all just turned into, or they've all gone, do you know what? We can't be bothered. We just can't be bothered
Mm.
really with any of it. And it's like, what about the foundation? What foundation? You never even said anything about it. You know what I mean? It's
Mm.
not like they said, you are going to be the new foundation. I just don't get it. I just don't
Yeah.
understand. I mean, it might have, if they just said, oh, 1 year later, you know, and they've kind of been teaching them for a year and now it's up to you, we'll pop in every year or something, that's fine. But it didn't seem they did that.
Yeah.
They just sort of like went, because basically Gail's like, you can't put me in the fucking cryopod and expect me to pop out once a year just to say hi and turn me into a god. And that's Harry's
Mm.
idea. But she says, I don't want to do that. You have to come with me.
Mm.
And he's just like, oh, well,
Well, what she said made sense. It'd be quicker if we both did it. But
yeah.
the
But then
the
they
fact
didn't
that
do it. Yeah.
they went straight into the pods is odd. Then we
Yeah.
jump to 152 years later with the mule kicking off.
Yeah.
Really scared of Gale for some reason,
Yeah.
and that's about it, really.
Yeah. I mean, that didn't really give us anything. We still don't know who he is,
Yeah.
where he's come from, why he's fucking wants to kill her, why he seems scared to death of her,
Mm.
um, where he is, what, just absolutely no idea. So presumably we're going to start the next series at 150 in that time,
Yeah.
and the daft telepathic children somehow turn themselves into like a fucking civilized. I mean, the whole point of Foundation was that they accumulated all this knowledge, and
Hmm.
they had to sort of like, there was so much of it, they had to whittle it down because there was so much. Like, these fuckers ain't got nothing. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? They literally haven't even got fucking like potatoes to rub together.
No.
So I just don't, and he hasn't taught them anything, you know. And they've
No.
literally just gone through this major trauma of like having this fucking lunatic, evil bastard woman mucking with their minds,
Yeah, just leave
doing
them
all their
to
stuff,
it.
doing all their thinking for them. So they're all going to be like a bunch of fucking, do you know
Spuds.
what I mean? I was going to spuds, yeah. So it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand that ending at all. Like I mean, I enjoyed the episode, but I was unsatisfied. I
Yeah.
think
I
with a
think
lot of that,
unsatisfied is a good word. Yeah.
I think we could have had a bit more, even if we just, had the end with Demerzal sitting on the throne or something while all this chaos was happening. But it
Mm.
seemed that at the end of this, like everyone was just like completely chaos. It was just chaos, and like, and then they decant the three, the three, and
Yeah,
it's
it
like, well,
made me
things are back
feel
to
ill to
normal then.
see. It made me feel ill to see Day just popping out of his pod after all that shit. Do you know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
thought it just sort of
But
robbed.
unless she had a plan, if she'd have been like, I am Lady Demoiselle and you serve me, sort of shit, and they were like, yes, lady, maybe it would have
Mm.
been like that. She's taken the power to the throne, but she just seemed to be like, not have a clue.
I
So,
really thought like she
yeah,
got around to, like at the last episode. I really thought she sort of got around her programming.
yeah, I did.
To serve the empire. It was kind of. I thought it was
Yeah,
heading that way.
yeah. It
Um,
implied it, that she's been playing this like long game, thousands of
yeah.
years long game, and especially like the last 600, manipulating the genome to play this long game so that she could seize power,
Mm.
either because she's mad and she just wants power, or because it's revenge for what they've done to her, or maybe she is benevolent and she's going to take, stop the empire can be a force for good or something. But like, we never got any of that. She just sort of like, oh, everything's all gone wrong,
And yeah, I'm a bit
like,
upset. Yeah, and
I
then
am, yeah.
I suppose, and also we've got what it looks like the first foundation's perfectly fine. It's just their planet got fucked up, so they'll probably just plant
Yeah,
themselves somewhere.
no
Um,
fucking explanation for that. Yeah, so
mm,
yeah, I wasn't satisfied with that either. It kind of made the whole thing pointless.
yeah,
But like, if you have that technology to sort of just like, you know, "Oh, don't worry, if your planet gets destroyed, we'll save you all anyway." Even though we literally saw the ground crumbling underneath your feet, you're all right now.
Well, we've got two
Do you know what
years
I
to
mean?
get over it, and hopefully the next season will
I mean, yeah,
explain
hopefully
some of
it's
this
shorter
shit.
time,
Yeah, I
but
don't want to slag it
it
off because it's been so good, but
has been good.
there's a
And I mean, I'll give it another watch. I think I've watched it twice now, but like
yeah,
I thought it was. I mean, I get cliffhangers, and it would have been, cliffhangers are great, but like
mm,
you kind of need to kind of wonder what's going to happen next. But like this whole season, all the stuff that happened, it all just sort of fizzled out.
yeah.
You
Like you
know,
say,
like
unsatisfying. Like there wasn't much of a payoff for all the
yeah, I mean, like
finagling. There was all of that.
finagling.
Yeah, there wasn't much of
Yeah,
a
it just
payoff
yeah,
really.
it's true. It's true. It's like if they had the technology. I mean, he said it was the plan all along to
Mm.
sort of like save Terminus and this sort of shit. But like, did anyone on Terminus know that?
So why did
It's
they
not a nice way to
why
treat people.
why did they provoke Day into bombing fucking Terminus when he was going to save all the people anyway? I mean, the only
Yeah.
thing they gained is the fact that the fleet's got fucked up. But I mean,
Mm.
they could just build some more ships. They've got technology. They've
Yeah.
got the scientists from Terminus to show them how to make the space brains for the ships. So they're not going to be fucked
Yeah.
up for that long. Plus,
Yeah.
plus
It
the
could quite.
Empire's got fucking millions of planets. So if you've got one factory on every planet, you could have a fucking up and working fleet, within 6 months, a year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like I say, I thought she was going to kind of Demerzal's manipulations were going to render the Empire kind of
Mm,
obsolete, and like she wouldn't have to obey their orders because she's manipulated them so much that they're not, you know, Empire really anymore, and she's coded to their DNA sort of
oh,
thing.
that's what I
I
thought
thought
it
it
was
was
all
going to be that.
about. I thought
Yeah,
that's
I
what.
thought it was going to be that.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to have like this major game plan, but like we didn't get any of that from her. Like she had this major game plan. She didn't explain herself at all, apart
Mm,
from that she's fucking confused.
yeah.
And I thought, yeah, I wanted more gloating from her. I wanted to see like Terminus dead.
Yeah.
Maybe if they save Polly or a couple of people, but like it just seemed that sacrifice was pointless. Like I mean, it just
Mm,
didn't happen really. And like Demerzal, I wanted to see her sitting on the throne, sort of like,
mm,
being all fucking gloaty, and the rest of them kind of on the run, like
yeah.
like just a handful left, and I mean, I'm glad Tellem died and all that kind of shit, but like, and it would have been fine if they
Yeah.
were now establishing a second foundation, but they didn't seem to do that, even though they said they were going to do
No,
it.
they just
They
went
just sort of
straight to
went,
their
oh,
pods.
let's just go to sleep. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Let them figure it out for themselves. I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll be fine. Like,
Uh,
no, fuck right
yeah.
off. So I wasn't. I could have
Mm.
done with another episode, to be honest. Just yeah. I thought that was. You know, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't.
I didn't hate it,
It
but I
did.
wasn't sat.
It
Like I
didn't
say,
satisfy
it's
me at
not
all.
satisfying. But
No.
anyway, hopefully in 2 years I'll sort it out and we'll get another season.
I mean, it's kind of difficult to know what's going to happen now because they've thrown loads of logic out the window.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean? It's like the whole point of like people dying on a planetary scale is a major event,
mm,
but it turns out it just doesn't actually matter
mm,
really. Do you know what I mean? Like it just kind of seemed like nothing really changed,
no.
you know. And then we get like, oh, but it's all leading to the mule, and we're like, who the fuck is that? We
Yeah.
still don't fucking know. Maybe in the books, don't know spoilers, but like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? I don't really get it. It kind of seemed the whole thing was a bit fucking pointless, you know.
Mm,
Especially I didn't like, you know, Bel Rios dying. I
no.
didn't like how. I mean, Hobart. I didn't really like Hobart very much anyway. But like, I can.
I've got.
But I didn't really.
I warmed to him at the end.
Yeah, I did, and I kind of warmed to Constant and Polly,
Yeah.
especially. But like, I warmed to them a bit more. But like, I didn't really understand what Constant really brings to the table. Why she had to be saved rather than everyone else, because she just doesn't really do that much. Sorry if you like her,
Yeah, Hober
but
would have
like,
been quite handy because he's a bit of a geezer, isn't
and
he?
he's
So,
obviously, and obviously he's sort of like
and Bel
Harry's
Rios would have
taken him
been
into his
handy.
confidence.
It,
Yeah,
it,
really
it,
handy. And a fucking a rogue Empire fleet would have been pretty
fucking
cool to
great.
have, knowing
Yeah.
Demerzal, knowing, well, they're stranded, their jump technology's bust, but they're out there. It's going to take them decades to get here, but they are out there, sort of shit. That could have been like a good way to end, knowing that you've got this rogue fleet that could cause loads of damage and no one knows who their allegiances are. That would have been cool, but like, it's all
If the
just gone.
space if the spaces are controlling where everything's jumping, right? I know jumping things into that. So they've trashed the fleet. They could have jumped. They could have jumped Hober Mallow's ship plus
I thought that as well. Yeah,
she's sent her to another part of the universe and kept him
I did think
safe.
about that. Yeah, I mean that could have been a ruse. She could have said, "Oh, the ships are all being destroyed," but they're not really.
Mm,
Jumping out. But like, I kind of thought maybe that, but like, it would have been a bit shit just to save one ship with Bel Rios on. I don't know. Again, I wasn't happy with that. It seemed a bit like an extreme thing to do.
like,
Um,
yeah, not satisfying. I think is like
No,
what you
no,
said.
it would have been great if Demerzal seized the throne. There's a fucking rogue Imperial fleet out, stranded because they've got
Mm,
no jump technology or something like that. The spaces are, doing whatever the fuck they want to do. Like, we didn't really get any indication of where their allegiances lie, or whatever. Just turns out they
mm,
lied and took the deal. But then, who's going to be making that stuff? They made a deal in order to for that substance, the opalesque, but they just destroyed Terminus. So they're not getting any of that shit now, are they? Do you know
mm.
what I mean? So like, it was, yeah. The more I think about it, the more I'm annoyed. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I must say, I'm more annoyed. I'm disappointed, actually. Yeah, which is sad. I didn't think
I'm so looking forward to it. Maybe my
I would be.
expectations were far too high. I don't
Well,
know.
that's it. That's when you get to our age, you know what I mean? You have even a sliver of hope about anything being
Grasp it
nice,
with
and then
both
it just gets
hands.
fucking snatched away from underneath you by life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I haven't. It's weird because throughout this series, I haven't watched any other like reviews of
Mm.
Foundation, only because like I think I watched too much YouTube reviews of shows and movies, and they influence you
Yeah,
before you even
I
watch
didn't
them.
want to.
You
Yeah,
know,
they probably
so
got way
I
more
didn't
knowledge
bother.
than what we've got. And they probably, I don't know, but I quite like it. Just sort of watching the thing, giving an opinion on it, rather than getting everybody else's fucking opinions and appearing cleverer than I am. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. I
I
didn't want to
want it to
do
be
that. I
sort of an
mean,
honest thing for normal.
well, I think it's like I watched quite a few reviews of like the Indiana Jones movie that just came out,
Right, yeah.
and I was like, this is gonna, it's a huge flop, it's a bomb, it's
Mm,
awful. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is terrible, and Indiana Jones, they made him a joke and all, and I was kind of like, I had a chance to go and see it in the cinema, and I was like, I can't be bothered, and
mm.
then, but then I had a chance to watch it. It's out on streaming services, I think now, and I had a chance to
And
watch
the
it,
rest.
right, and the rest. Um, but and I really liked it. Like, I really liked. I mean, it had problems, right? It had its faults and stuff like that. But I didn't hate Phoebe Waller-Bridge as much as I thought I would. I mean, she was very unlikable and a very untrustworthy character. I don't know
Mm,
why they made her a sort of positive character, because she really wasn't. But I didn't mind it. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
yeah.
I liked seeing Indiana Jones as an old man. So all the stuff the reviews talked about in order to get you to watch their videos,
Mm,
like, look what they've done to Indiana Jones, and you click
yeah.
on it and it's like all this shit. It just wasn't really true. And so I tried to stay, at least for me, and I tried to stay away from all that
But
with
they
this
probably
one,
get a
because
lot more views than we would. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, like
but
hate
who
watching,
cares?
isn't it? So, Anyway, I
But
think we
I
should.
think again, that's it. I didn't want any of that to influence my enjoyment of the show because I didn't want to read too many spoilers about the book and stuff. He talks about that, but I just wanted to experience it as it comes, and
Yeah,
it's been totally great.
yeah.
Apart from this episode,
We should leave it
so
there. We should leave it there. I
we should,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah. I don't know. It's a
Um,
shame.
yeah. I mean, well,
I,
I'll get over it. A couple of years will give me a chance to sort of, yeah, and I can watch it again.
a
And
couple of years, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
so
mean, you know, I hope. I mean, I hope they don't sort of like because I mean, the thing I said about the reviews and that is that I wonder what kind of reviews this last episode is going to get if everyone's going to have the same as
I don't
us.
want to panic
Like
because
it's a
it
bit,
has been great. It's just this last
yeah, but
episode
like
that's
if they're all
problematic.
really bad, then it puts the third series in jeopardy if it's like a massive fucking letdown. Well, I
Well,
mean, it doesn't, but I hope they don't like if I hope they don't if they get bad reviews for this episode. I hope they don't go, oh right, well we need to change things. Obviously, you know, I hope they don't do that because like for the most part they've done like a real bang up job,
yeah,
and you know we don't want them to fire the directors and writers and bring in a bunch of new people because that will be the end.
yeah, that would be the
Do you know what
end.
I mean?
Yeah.
So so
Anyway,
anyhow, so yeah, please make some suggestions of what we can watch next. We like sci-fi, we like horror. I'm not sure what's out there at the moment, but if people in the comments can let us
anything.
know
I don't
with
mind.
anything,
Yeah,
there's a few things. There's a few movies out. I'm watching a good show called The Changeling, which is sort of like a
you could
horror
give that a
mystery
go.
thing. That's
Yeah,
pretty interesting. I thought
yeah.
you might like that. It's more of an
Okay.
adult thing,
All
um,
right.
not rude sort of thing. But yeah, let us know, and thank you for everyone for watching the last video and this one. But yeah,
Yeah,
I got a lot of views on the last video, and that was really, really nice. And
yeah.
lots of
It
people
was.
talking in the
Yeah,
comments and stuff. So yeah, keep that up if you want us to be happy. If you don't want us to be happy, don't.
yeah.
You
Smash
have
that
that power.
dislike button,
Yeah,
as
I mean, not
PewDiePie
that we really
says.
care, but you know,
Yeah,
like we'll survive.
yeah.
We're you know we're old. It's like we're
We're
used to
going to keep
disappointment.
doing it, whatevs, anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, let us know if there's something else you want us to sort of talk shit about and
Yeah,
be massively disappointed by.
yeah,
Let us know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah. All right
Right
then.
on. Okay. Well, I'll see you next week for something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll sort
we'll
something out.
get some ideas on.
All right.
Yeah, don't be upset.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Nice. All right. See you later then.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.